I'm Jason Swarbrick. I love doing karaoke. It's, believe it or not, relaxing for me. I've been doing karaoke since I was just over 21 years old, dedicating songs to the troops, to people who have gone through things like cancer, ALS, stuff like that. Anything to do with dedicating songs to other people would be my favorites. You Raise Me Up, American Soldier, Some Gave All, and Live Like You Were Dying. I go to Pit Stop in Milford on Friday nights, Hook, Line, and Sinker in Shelton on the River Road on Wednesday nights. Growing up with Spina Bifida, never been able to walk. I was put in a wheelchair at 4 or 5 years old because I was getting too heavy to carry. I was taught to be extremely independent by an ex-teacher, by my father, doing things for myself, driving, going out whenever, I want to, doing my own shopping, getting myself dressed in the morning. I tried to have the same life as my friends, my family, as best as I could. Yes, it was different, but it was neither less or more than what others were going through. I would say my biggest accomplishment is being able to go to college and getting on the honor roll. I originally went in under early childhood education, thought that it meant like grammar school kids, but it ended up being a lot younger than that, like 5-6-year-old kids. And I didn't want to do daycare, so I changed it to general studies, even though I still worked in the daycare at the college because I loved the job, loved working with the kids, loved my peers. And then after so long of doing general studies, I did a certificate program in computers and got tired of being there. So I left it at that. I've had many jobs in the past 20 plus years and aide in a library. I worked at a senior center for an entire summer. I worked for 10 years at the Stratford Recreation Department. I worked in retail, worked at Pizza Hut, worked at McDonald's, which I think everybody has worked at McDonald's. I've been all over. There were some people that tried holding me back. Oh, you can't do this and you can't do that. Well, being the person that I am, I pretty much proved them wrong. I wasn't even supposed to be here. I was supposed to be dead at 2 years old, if that. 3 years ago, I was in the hospital because of a hiatal hernia that ended up in my stomach not working anymore. I now have gastroparesis, which basically means that the vagus nerve, which basically controls pretty much every function in your body, is damaged and causes a lot of pain. For 2.5 years of this whole ordeal, I wasn't able to drive. Not only had a lot of pain, but I was also getting seizures. Sat in the house 24/7, didn't go anywhere except for when somebody had brought me to the doctors, and that was it. It wasn't until about 1.5 years later that I found out what these seizures were and how to control them. I one day just said, I've had enough of this. I'm going to start getting back to my life, and it's pretty much what I did. Probably within the last 6 months, I've been able to do things again. With joining the spinal cord injury group, I've come to realize that there are other things out there that may or may not be waiting for me to do, but it's something that I'd be willing to try. instead of just going to karaoke or just going to the store, try other things. And I met this group, saw how their challenges have affected them and what they've done with their lives since they've had these injuries. And it actually gives me a lot of hope. For instance, to go on a camping trip, which I've never even thought about doing before. I'm the first person to say life sucks. I really am. But just because you're in a wheelchair or use a walker or a cane, just because you're in that situation doesn't mean you can't do at least some of the things that you want to do. You need to find other ways of doing those things. You have to in order to survive in this world. You can't let it stop you. You can't let a wheelchair stop you from going bowling. You can't let a walker stop you from climbing a mountain. You have to keep climbing to the top. The one song that sticks out more than any other song that I do is Live Like You Were Dying. Those words hold true in so many ways. When I started doing karaoke at 21, I basically just got a phone call from one of my friends who said, look, they're doing karaoke at this place. You want to go? And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll give it a try. And I've loved it ever since. Some people can do it no problem. Others have a mental block of getting up in front of people and singing. But once you get past that block, it's all fun.